Hey everybody, it's Paul with I Like to Paint Minis, and we're back with another tutorial this week to go over, as I mentioned in the past, we're going to do basing for miniatures. This could be you make up the base, use the base that's provided with the miniature. It just depends on the type or what you want for your viewing pleasure or your tabletop hobby, whatever it may be. And the miniature we're going to do is the Owlbear, where we painted it up with speed paint and some acrylic paints from Army Painter. And the two options that I'm looking at is a traditional one, just flocking it up with some grass and maybe some roughage or flowers in that aspect, and then maybe a cork base. Keep in mind cork, and I'll show you that here in the video coming up soon. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and get started, and thanks for joining. I Like to Paint Minis with Paul. All right, so we're back, and we're gonna go over and start working on basing for the Owlbear that I painted up in an earlier video, like I talked about, from Archon Studios. But I want to go over real quick. There's some different options for basing, right? You can make your own base, or you can create pre-made bases that are already from sets that you had or miniatures that you purchased. Example: this is a bigger base. This is from Archon Studio. From one of their Kickstarters from Dayslayer. It's more of a rocky scenery and some runic symbols that are in there, depending on how you want to paint it up or whatever idea you have for your miniature. You can also just go with the basic base, get the miniature on there, maybe drop some fake grass on there, dirt, whatever you want to do. In that aspect, this comes in, I believe, for a 28 millimeter. This is from Warhammer. Then they come in a bigger size. They always have that ridge, right, or that lip. This one is probably, I think, from Malifaux, from a bigger miniature that I had. It just depends on how you want to base. Some bases, I said, will come pre-made up. This is more of, don't go with the L42, but it's a base that I bought for some science fiction or futuristics. You can paint these any color you want, metal, rust, whatever it may be. They even come as so small as square bases. This one has some scenery on it. This is also from Citadel. I decided to use it for something else. Haven't done it yet, but it has some skulls, some details on it. So depending on how in depth you want to get into your base, do you want to have one pre-made? Do you want to make one yourself? It just depends, right? For me, it's options for all of them, just depending how I'm feeling that day and what I'm working on. Let me move this to the side. But what I decided to do is I got this at Hobby Lobby, a set. It's an actual, I think it's some type of tree, but I'm gonna use it. It's perfect for a base, and it's natural. And what we're gonna do today is we're gonna take this, and there's a product that you can also buy at Hobby Lobby. We'll pull some out of the bag. It's called corkboard. And corkboard comes in big square sheets. And if you're familiar with it, if not, it's where you put Post-it notes on with thumbtacks or stick things on it to remind yourself of things. So what I've done with this corkboard already is broken it up. So it's in kind of like some rough looking pieces. So let me get a few pieces out here. So we have everything on the camera. And it doesn't have to be perfect science on how you do this, right? So let's move this bag to the side. And usually what I do is I use all different types of glues for my basing. So I have Elmer's Craft Bond glue, or just Elmer's glue works. Also, mostly I'm using up a lot of the rest of what I have for my Army Painter basing glue. You can do that, but you can also use some like Crazy Glue or Cyanuric Acid glue. I do. This is a brand from Hobby Lobby. I like it. It works. It's great. It's a medium. They come in different strength or thicknesses. And then so what we're gonna do is just take this and put it on the base, spread it around, put that down there. And then there's these little Q-tip sticks, or if you have some Q-tips that you clean your ears with. I like them because I can actually not have to use so much glue, and I can spread it out. And you move it it doesn't have to be perfect, right? It's just where you want it, where you think you need it. What I've learned from this hobby is when I overthink it, that's when I jack stuff up. When I'm having fun, that's when it comes out the way I want it, and start to put it in there, right? So we'll drop it down like that. Let's get a few more here. And yes, you're probably gonna see gaps, certain areas. We can fill those in with rock or other scenery, whatever works, right? It's always mentioned, you know, You gotta have fun, right? Or at least use this to take away stress like I do, whatever works for you. So I kind of have it positioned on there the way I want it. Now some parts you'll probably have to go back in and glue, depending on how things dry. See, my glue's already drying out on me, right? So let me put some more in here. Drop that down like that. Now what I have, you can sit and let this dry, but if you're impatient like me, don't. But if you are, they make a product, it's called an accelerator. You can get any brand. This is Bob Smith Industries. I'm assuming it's just a generic chemical, or it's called Instaset. You can get this at Hobby Lobby, off Amazon, wherever you want. I hit it up. I use this for my models too when I'm building certain plastic and certain resin models, especially when they're the hard pieces that you don't want to sit there and hold forever. But I do suggest that when you're doing this, be very aware of when you're using the super glue and the Instaset that you glue the model and not your fingers. It's gonna happen. So some parts will set right away, some won't, but you can see I'm already trying to move it and it's not going, right? This one is gonna need some more glue. Drop some on there real quick. Put that back in place. It doesn't matter if it hangs over. That's like a rocky ledge, right? It's something cool. All right, most of my pieces are set. Now you can build this as high as you want, as small as you want. You can even half the cork board or whatever works for you. I'm gonna go ahead and drop another layer on here. Now I wanna let you be aware of that I have another one in the works. It's actually priming, so I can get that ready to paint for the video. But it's the same concept. So we'll drop some more glue on here. Spread it around just a little bit. Let's see, I got that piece right there. Oh yeah, look at that, that's looking good, right? All right. If you have questions or comments, you know, drop them in the notes. I get back to people usually right away, depending if I'm painting. If I'm painting, you know, it's one of those things, right? Drop it in here like that. Let me get some more glue because I don't like the way this is gonna stick, right? And you'll find this is kind of like Legos when you're a kid, playing with Legos or something, the way you want things. One more piece, one more piece. Drop that there. Let's do this so it gets more of that gap closed up for me, right? Hit it with the accelerator. There we go, look at that. Stuff smells kind of weird too, so just be careful if you're sensitive to different chemicals or whatever it may be. Just wear a mask or stay farther back or in a good, well-ventilated area. Let me move the corkboard out of the way. So one of the other things I'm going to do for you is there's a lot of different types of basing material. You could buy rocks. You can get rocks out of your backyard like this. This could be a base, right? I haven't done anything with it yet. You can paint them, you can do whatever, glue stuff to them. Gluing stuff to a rock is a little bit harder, but sometimes I use the little rocks, glue them to the bases. But what I'm trying to get to is my spill dish, and this spill dish is, you'll see it on other videos that people have. It's where they have excess of rocks or dirt or whatever they may be using. So there's a lot of different types of rocks in here, and sand, fine sand. It's what I'm gonna use for this. But most of the rock came from Army Painter's Game Master Scenery Sand. And this came from terrain boxing stuff that I bought to learn how to do my own homemade terrain. It's great stuff. It's not that expensive. But if you're on a budget, get some little rocks and dirt from your backyard. Just make sure, I've heard from people, bake it in your oven to get all the critters and the other stuff out of it. So what we're gonna do is drop some more glue on here. Spread it around a little bit. And if you haven't seen down below, I have these hobby mats or these cut safe proof mats. If you're using a desk or something else, I suggest you get those so you don't get glue and other stuff all over your desk like I do. And then stuff starts sticking to it, right? It's gonna make a mess. This stuff will definitely make a mess. And you're not like actually throwing money out the door when you're doing it. So you just take it and sprinkle it on top like I'm doing right here. Sorry about that, minus the dog hair. Drop it in there like that. Now, the way I did it on top, you can do that as well. You can also do it on the sides and the layers, just depending on how in depth you want to get. You can put it in here, the glue. I usually let it sit for a couple seconds and then shake off the excess. And as you start to see, it's going to make a pattern, right, for you. And then you can go out and get the stuff out that you don't want, stuff that's going to stick. Now, I'll tell you, sometimes if you have dogs or cats, I've heard people say this in other videos, and a couple times it's happened to me, leave those in, they can look like little vines or different things. So you see how it's making the pattern already on top? And then down in here, perfect example, if I wanted to, you could fill this in with some product. Let me reach over and grab it real quick, I apologize. And there's a bunch of it, right? There's different brands, but this is Vallejo, it's water texture. And it creates fake water. You want to hit any type of base. You want to make sure you hit your rims, right? Just don't leave it glossy or gray or black. If you're going to do all the work on basing the model, clean that up too. That's just my opinion. I've also learned that from other painters that are out there. So I got some paints already on my palette, on my wet palette, because I'm going to do, like I said, I'm going to do dry brushing. And there could be fine detail or not, it just depends in that aspect. So let me move my lid away, my Army Painter lid, get that out of the way. I have a couple dry brushes down, and I have a few paints on my palette already from the Ward Painters Fanatic, it's a deep gray, and then my traditional paints, I have a leather brown, and then these will be different tones depending if we go over it, like a uniform gray, ash gray, or orc skin. Just depending on how it evolves for me and what I want to do. And if you're still following along and you're watching me, thank you very much. I know this video can be long, some are. I want to do more shorts, but I also want to get some tutorials out there, or it just might be a video of me painting, right? Jamming out to music like I do now. Hopefully you like the music. It's something that keeps me inspired. So as you see, hitting with the dry brush, going across. Sometimes you need a little bit more. You don't need to dry off your brush as much because this is just a dry brush. It's not like you're painting the miniature, right? And you can see I start to mix in a little bit of brown so I can get some of those earth tones for me. I'm not too concerned how I hit it or where I hit it or if I get too much. So let's get it over here. Some more earth tones. See how it starts to take for me? Hopefully you can see that on camera and I'm in view. I apologize if I got out of view. Hit it with some more tones. Come around here. Hit it up. So that's all I want, right? From that aspect. I'm gonna grab a different dry brush here. And see right here, these are rocks. So let's get some more gray on those rocks. Because remember, I wanted to remember that I put some rocks on there. Get some more paint on my palette. Different size dry brush for me, because I don't want to hit all the areas now. Then I'm going to come over here and try to hit these. See how they're all kind of blended in? So we'll get some darker or lighter shades on here so they'll stand out. So we'll come in with some ash gray. Dry brush that off. See, it's starting to come a little bit hot, lighter, I guess that's the correct term, than the others that are out there. Then you can keep going lighter and lighter and lighter, or however you want to do it, right? It's your miniature, it's your model. You do what you want within those areas. I'm actually kind of liking what I'm doing here. It's popping for me. And remember, everything I've learned in this hobby and other things in my life, you're always your own worst critic, right? So don't be too hard on yourself. And also, these things don't look totally done until you're done. Like right after I add some of the tufts or the grass maybe in certain areas, that might be something that might help it set off, in that aspect. All right, let's hit this up. Some of this brown. I overshadowed some areas. Don't be afraid to use your fingers too to get in there in spots. And you can also poke, dab at it like that, like I'm doing now. Just depends, man, what you want to do. Let's see if we have another. Oh, check this out. Nah, that's field gray. We don't want to use that. Get some dried brown from the Fanatic line. It's going to be one of their triad colors. As you can see, it's a little bit different, not consistency, but where the colors pop different. This is leather brown or bootstrap brown or whatever you want to call it. So I'll get some of that on there. And this is where I'm not afraid to mix some of my colors while they're still on my dry brush without rinsing it off, right? Get it up in there. Get it up in there. Now that I'm looking at it, I might leave this just like it is. It might look sloppy to you, but I kind of like that overtone, earthy tone. All right, so we got some paints on there, right? And so what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna start looking at my miniature. I'm not gonna glue it yet or pin it. Pin it's another term that you'll learn when you're putting miniatures on bases. But I want to start to really look now areas I don't want to cover up with grass because I want the miniature to glue to the base, right? Or try to. And pinning basically is a concept of drilling some small holes in these feet here, taking some paper clips, bending them out, making them straight, putting them in there, and then gluing them in, and then glue them into your base so it has stability in case this drops during gameplay or it may be. This one, I'm not gonna use it for gameplay unless DMJ asked me to. I can bring it. Otherwise, we'll get it in there. So it's looking pretty good. I got a feeling I'm gonna put it that way. So let's do this. Come back with some of the crazy glue and move these brushes out of the way. Now this is gonna get messy. I don't really have a grass spill tray like I mentioned before. So we'll pop this lid off. It kind of sticks or clumps together. They have these static guns that make it stand up or whatever. I haven't fit that into my budget yet, so I kind of mix it around. Come back over. Drop some glue in areas like this, this, maybe here, some here. And like I said, there's no rhyme to the reason of what I'm doing. It's just, I'm doing it. I don't know, that's not the best way to explain something, but that's how I'm doing it. So we got some more glue here. Yep, I painted on the rocks. Yes, I'm putting glue on the rocks. Trust me. Well, it works for me. So I'm gonna take it. There's multiple ways you can do it. Sprinkle method or doing what I'm doing right now. Let's see if it's gonna work. Push it down into my thing. Bam! Look, we got grass, baby. Now, some of the areas that didn't get in there are around here. So we'll take that, push some in there, push some there, and get some up in here. Hopefully that part will stick. If not, oh well. Let it sit for a second. Now this stuff can get messy. It can get everywhere. Oh, I missed a spot. Sorry. It's talking, right? If you have questions, if you want to give feedback, concerns or things that you'd like to see in the future, make comments, send me a message. I'm not shy. Hopefully you're not. We'll tap off the excesses I'm doing now. And you can see This one's gonna have a little bit more. This stuff will come off over time, right? There are ways to seal it. I don't usually do that. There's a lot of stuff that I haven't learned yet, or I haven't taken the time to learn, but I want to share with what I've learned. All right, so that looks bitchin'. I like it. So what I'll do now is, hold on, let me set this aside. Of course, see, we have extra. I'm cheap. Put it back in there. Get this out of the way. Now what we could do, bring the palette back over, get the one small dry brush that I was using, or I have another small one. Start blending colors together. So, hold on. Pop this back up in here. Yes, I'm a palette too. And we can come back, start hitting areas to make it blend, right? However you want to do it. Now sometimes, say I have these rocks back up in here. I don't know if you can see them. They're tiny for me, but in that time they're probably bigger or whatever. I might come over and try to make those highlight more to stick out, right? Now remember, I'm doing a video. These can come in stages. You don't have to jump around like I am. And as I get better at doing the video for you guys, you'll see that as well. All right, so we got that done and taken care of. All right, so let's take a look at the owlbear. Bam, he's gonna fit just nicely. So let's do this on video. Get him glued in. Drop some glue on his feet. Go back, get my accelerator. Drop him in the spot. Now, the accelerator, yeah, it looks oily on his feet and everything. Later on, I can wash that off with a brush with some water. And actually, boom, he's on there. There's the owlbear. Base is almost done for me. And we're going to get into what I promised was the Army Painter tufts, right? The scorched tufts. All right, so we got them right here. My palette here. Pull these out. Now, these tufts can be fun at times. If you're like me, you're definitely gonna want to pull them out like this. As I mentioned, different types of glues for different things. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue here on my palette, the Army Painter Basing Glue, which is kind of like just crafting glue, right? It says it clear and matte, right? So for this case, it doesn't matter too much. So I usually what I do is I look at the miniature, think, where do I want to put these? Am I going to overdo it? Is it going to be a big thing? So sometimes I start small to big, or it just doesn't matter. Take it like that, get some tweezers, dip a little bit of the glue on there. Even though these are sticky, they're going to stick better with glue over time. Or I've learned that from other people in videos. Just passing on tips and tricks that I've learned. Then you just start placing stuff on your miniature. Alright, get a couple more going here. Get a small one going over here. I wouldn't worry about the excess glue. As I mentioned, it's going to go clear and matte. If it does show up too much, then just paint over it with some of the colors that are in those primary areas. All right, let's get another one here. Scorched tufts. We're looking burnt. All right, get a baby here. Drop it back up in here. All right, get one of these. Let's see. Oh, right there, that'll look good. Push them down. Now these will take a time to dry, right? So it's not like the crazy glue. And I suggest not using the crazy glue because certain things work, certain things burn. In that aspect. Take a look at it. I'm happy with this one. So hopefully this tutorial worked for you. We got with the owlbear, as I mentioned, with the cork board, some products from Hobby Lobby, some different crafting things. Uh, if you have any questions, comments, feedback, let me know. Something new that you'd like to see. Otherwise, thanks for joining Paul again on I Like to Paint Minis. Have a great day.